What's up guys, Brilly here. Welcome back to another episode of my Better Than Adventure Minecraft Let's Play. In this episode, I'm going to be walking west for as long as I can before I get bored. Sounds good? Alright, let's go. So, a few days ago, I was just on YouTube at like 8 o'clock at night looking for stuff to entertain me, scrolling through my recommended videos, and I saw this video called Nothing Except Everything. I recommended it. It was like 12 minutes long. And I clicked on it because the thumbnail was of a attractive Asian woman holding your hand out to the camera, and that is the only reason I clicked on it. I was like, "Ooh, this looks nice," and what I got was like a short film about like the meaning in life and stuff. The girl was in it a little bit, not as much as I had hoped. And overall, it seemed like a very highly well produced, like a lot of effort clearly went into it, and not really what I was expecting. There was one problem with it though, is that it completely sucked ass. Wait, what the fuck did I just do? Oh, you can... Alright, that's awesome. Anyway. Yeah, I not like it whatsoever. I thought it was pretty shallow. I thought it was pretty hypocritical with like what it was trying to do and what it actually was doing. It wasn't really that self-aware, even though it tried to be. Overall, I kinda just wasted my time. It was a little funny though, I'll give them that. Why is this like an actual island? But where did my boat go? I'm back. I'm gonna just be talking about the short film today because ever since I watched it, I can't stop thinking about how bad it was. I need a place to voice my frustrations. Okay, so my first problem with the movie is that it was very clearly inspired by two other movies. The first one you can kind of judge by the title is Everything Everywhere All at Once, and then the second one was the gay Ezra Miller movie. If you know, you know. There is very clearly a specific scene for each of these movies that is like directly is kind of just ripping off the film. And I think it's like fine to be inspired by other movies and stuff. Like, I'm inspired by movies when I make my actual YouTube videos too. There's a difference between wanting to explore a similar idea or concept that your favorite film does, and then just like regurgitating what they said in a less entertaining manner. That's pretty much what this movie does. It doesn't really have a voice of its own because it's just propagating what other film directors have said, but like better. And when your movie is about like trying to search for the meaning of life and like the emptiness of everything and blah blah blah, all that weird schmuck, it should probably try to at least be personal, but I can't even really say that. The vast majority of the movie is just doing what other movies do, but worse. Well, I shouldn't say that because I haven't actually seen either of the other movies. I did read the book. Well, I read half of the book that the gay Ezra Miller movie was based on. I had to stop because the main character shared the same name as I did, and I didn't like that, so... There goes my boat. Another issue I had with the short film is that the main character, that's like the narrator and stuff the entire time, is very unlikable. But I feel like the film doesn't really address this ever. What I mean by that, he's like unlikable, is that just he seems like annoying. Like if I went to school with this kid, I'd probably dislike him. He sounds like a nerd, but like also tries to be cool. It's like weird to explain, but if you watch a short film, you kind of understand what I'm saying. What makes other films that explore the same concepts that this movie does better is that a big part of like growing up and being a kid is that you're kind of an asshole. And you do a bunch of antisocial things, either intentionally or unintentionally. And part of growing up is like maturing and becoming a better person. And I'm not saying that part has to be the like main part of your film, but when the character spends like most of the movie trying to search for the meaning of life and doing all these like pretentious assholey things, it like makes it a lot less relatable. Because he never, if I die doing this, it's gonna be so funny. There's this one point where he's like the school's valedictorian, because of course he is. He's given like the big speech they all gave at the end of high school. Fuck. And he just completely goes off the rails and starts screaming about how we're all gonna die and stuff. And that's not like a good thing. And I guess it's a short film, so they make it fast, but this is never addressed that again. There's a similar scene where he like rants to his parents about the meaning of life. And they just like cut back to later in the movie for a second, and the parents are just like staring at him while he's like on the verge of tears, and it's really unintentionally funny. Like in comparison, there's movies like Lady Bird or Diary of a Wimpy Kid, where their main characters do bad things, they'll make mistakes, they'll piss off the other people in their lives by doing weird stuff. They like actually face consequences for it. They like grow and change by the end of the movie. I think all this kid learned is that Asian pussy is awesome. That leads me into my next point, which is that I honestly just didn't even really understand the movie. Because, like, I knew what it was trying to do, kinda. Because I knew about those other movies it was ripping off. But, like, I also just still didn't understand what the point of it was. I didn't understand how anything was resolved by the end. Like, even the title, Nothing Except Everything, is so just, like, pretentious and, like, literally means nothing. Because, like, what are you even saying there? I've read, like, dozens of reviews of this movie on Letterboxd, and I'll talk about actually that at the end. But I've read dozens of reviews on Letterboxd, and a lot of people are kind of just as confused as I am. I've seen a lot of people who do like the movie say this movie like means so much to me. It perfectly encapsulates everything I'm going through right now. Just like, what? What's going on in your life right now? How many people actually spend time thinking about the meaning of life? Just play some Minecraft for a bit or something, bro. Start watching football. Pick up a football. Do something with your life. That's the meaning. Maybe in like 5 years, I like changed my mind and I realized I was a dumb kid for thinking this and that whoever made this movie was actually a genius. But it doesn't really take Einstein to figure out that if you want to be happy, you should just start doing things with your life. It doesn't even matter what. The typical thing is always just pick up a football. But if you want to make movies, that's the way to fulfill your life. I don't think Desert Temples are in here yet. Some other just minor issues I had with the movie is that at one point, I think in a flashback, it's shown that Miles gets bad grades because they show him like freaking out, and then it like cuts to like a scan-shot with like it's like a scan-shot where everything is done on the computer, but it's like visibly in like red ink marked what questions he got wrong, and it's kind of a lot. That's a little funny because it's already like you're using the wrong. That's not how scan-shots work. But then he later becomes valedictorian, and I'm confused if it's kind of like an intentional thing where it's like, oh look, he became smarter academically as he grew up, or if they just like fucked up. They were trying to relate to both the gifted kids who now feel depressed, along with the stupid kids who feel depressed because they're stupid. No, I was looking at my notes and I fell into a cave. This doesn't really relate to anything. I just have in my notes, Miles lives in a world where Elliot Rodger won and every loser teenage boy is given a court-ordered girlfriend. If you don't know what I just talked about, that's probably for the better, but I agree with that statement. I have no clue how Miles pulled that. Alright, the last thing I want to touch on before I end this video is that online, well, if you go into the YouTube comments, you can see a bunch of people who love the movie and like love this guy's messages or whatever. Clearly they were more touched by it than I was. On Letterboxd, it's that a very opposite reaction. Nearly every review, not every review, but like I'd say a good 90% of reviews are negative and 50% of them are straight up like mean-spirited. Because apparently the kid who made this movie, he presented it as like his high school film, like senior year film project, and he's just some humble guy who decided to make a movie when he was in high school, and he worked so hard to make his dreams come true, and now he's actually succeeding because the movie's blown up. But in reality, this kid, apparently he goes to Harvard, which people are like, well, he must be rich if he goes to Harvard, which I guess is true. And like he raised a bunch of money for the movie on Indiegogo before he made it. The actors in the movie are like actual actors and not just people he found on the streets. Like Miles, the main character. I'm not sure if I ever said it, but Miles is the main character. He was Bruce Wayne in Gotham, apparently, which I think is pretty funny. But yeah, just a lot of people are like shitting on this guy, not only making a bad movie, but also because you know how Letterboxd is. They want to make themselves seem better than the capitalist pigs that run society. And like I was a little disappointed when I found out that they were actually actors and they weren't just people on the street. But I felt like that even made the film less authentic. But at the end of the day, it's still like a cool thing to do to make a movie when you're that young, no matter how many resources you are given to you. Like how many child actors or like child TikTok stars, all that stuff, children of like celebrities, end up just doing nothing with their life and just like party all the time. never get a real job, just live off of their own parents' money and never try to express themselves in any way, whether that be through filmmaking or through like construction work or something. I don't know. Even if I don't like the movie, I still think like it was shot well. I thought. I forgot to talk about the music. I'm adding one more section to this video after. What the fuck is that? Oh wait. Okay, I'm gonna do that next episode because that's actually what I was looking for. So I'm gonna make like a little camp up here. But as I was saying, I don't really like the movie, but I think it's pretty admirable that this kid was able to make something even with all the resources he had. Because not a lot of people would be willing to put in the time and effort to do that. I don't think people should be hating on him as much as they are. I think people are mean. They're jealous of his riches. Is that a YOLO Swag Studios quote? No, it's a drill quote. He's jealous of Elon's millions. And to end off this video, since I forgot to mention it before, the music was also pretty ass. People on Letterboxd are making fun of the choices because they were all just like the most stereotypical, like expected Gen Z songs. Although I kind of disagree. And this isn't not necessarily a problem with just this one director. In fact, this is just like a personal grievance that— what the fuck? This is just like a personal grievance I have with movies as a whole. I kind of wish that with how big rap and hip hop music have gotten over the past like 30 years, that we'd see a lot more of that kind of music in movies like this one. Because in my high school, every kid knew who like Drake was, every kid knew who XXXTentacion was, even like lesser known rappers like Lil Pump, everyone still knew who they were just because rap music was so ingrained into the culture. Like everyone knew who The Weeknd was, everyone knew who Kanye was, and you could all identify their songs. In the movie, I could like kinda recognize the songs they were playing, but at the same time I was like, I didn't know who they were by, which maybe that's on me. Ultimately, like music taste is subjective and whatever, and what you want to put in your movie is like down to each person what they think fits best. Would Beach House fit better over this movie than a Young Thug song? Maybe, probably, honestly. Would it have been more entertaining or more like a bold choice to put a Young Thug song over the movie? I think it would have been. I think it could have made the movie better. Like there's a scene where Miles and his girlfriend are just like chilling in the car for like a full minute. They could have been playing like Bryson Tiller or something, just to make the scene feel more lived in and to add like something to that scene. That wasn't just cringe dialogue. I don't want to talk about the dialogue. I hate this movie so much. I'm jealous of Miles' riches. Alright, I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video.